what happened.
All right.
All right.
I guess Sen froze.
Yes, he.
Where's that? What happened with that?
Maple syrup.
You froze so bad.
That was spectacular. It was at exactly the right time, and then it came in really strangely. It was wonderful. Hi, everyone.
There's a glitch in the system. Yeah. I saw over on Marcus's screen was like an emoji, like a thumbs up emoji.
Yeah, I saw that too.
I've never ever seen that before.
I did this.
No, but there was actually a thumbs up emoji on your screen. It was very exciting.
I mean, maybe it was because it was like 3, 2, 1. It's like, go, you guys are on. Right. But it was weird because it was on your side of the screen, like right in the corner. It had these almost like thought bubbles coming from your head. It was weird.
We both saw that.
I didn't do it.
And so I was like, what is that? And I froze. And then apparently I actually froze. For reals. I froze.
Yes. Well, hello to everyone who's out there. If you saw the thumb, let us know.
Yeah.
Hi, George.
Hello,
hi,
George.
Jessica. It's lovely to see you here. Did you see the thumb?
Let us know. We want to know if there's like new things happening with BeLive that we weren't aware of. Well, hey, everybody. We'd also like to say welcome to the one, the only Marcus Ross. Marcus joins us from not the state of Omaha, because that is not a state, cat.
From Omaha, Nebraska.
Yes, from the state of Nebraska.
The state part.
So, Marcus, are you a Cornhusker?
I am. I actually went to school at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. So
there
I've got a computer science degree.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Cornhusker is the mascot for University of Nebraska.
Okay, I thought it was like a personal question of some sort.
I mean,
it's kind of personal.
I don't know if I've ever husked a corn.
Oh, that's a job you get when you're 14 around here. You have to go into the cornfields and you actually detassel corn. Actually,
yeah. It's a point of pride. Actually, I mean, it's a yeah. I mean,
my point of pride is I skipped that.
Yeah.
I'm proud on your behalf.
Jessica's saying that she did not see the magical thumb. So.
All right. Well, maybe it was just for us.
Maybe
it was our personal thumb, just for the rest of us who are on this
software
thing. Yeah,
maybe.
Thanks,
very
software.
weird.
That
very
was
weird
of you.
Yeah. So, hey, Marcus, for people who don't know you, and I don't know how they couldn't know you, but what are you known for? How'd you get into this? Where did this all start? And why, when I met you, no, you weren't in the suit when I met you.
I wasn't wearing a fish costume at the time.
No, but let's talk.
I have never seen you in the costume, but I'm very interested in the story.
Well, all right. So, 100 years ago, I did a competition with the people who make Cards Against Humanity. It was called Tabletop Deathmatch. It was for brand new game designers to get their games looked at, judged, and they would pick a winner. And as the prize, they would give you the first print run of your game.
And a fish suit.
Fish suit. We'll get to that.
Okay, good.
So we get down to like the final 10 people, and it is they record it documentary style. And we each give our pitch to a panel of judges. And as part of my pitch, I'm like, oh yeah, if we win, I'll wear a fish costume to Gen Con. Because our game is called Discount Salmon. It's a very silly game where you're fishmongers trying to fix fish that have problems. And one of the problems is if it's not a fish, well, you make it a fish by putting it in a fish costume. So we did win that competition. And I had to make good on my promises. So I have a costume that is a bad fish costume. I will find pictures and post them for you.
I have seen a picture of it, and I was like,
seen the picture?
How did this happen? Why did this happen?
That's why.
So as I was going through your profile for pictures before you sent us a headshot.
You found one?
A Glorious Glitters headshot. I just said, I love this picture.
Oh, okay.
Because I'd loved it many years ago, and then I just had to resurrect it, and the Necro thread started, and then Nicole Ahmad was like, I still love this picture too. We all love the picture. It's a good picture.
And that's how it got on my feed, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So I was like,
oh, now I have to see this. Okay.
It's just you in the suit.
Share it.
I have
everyone.
like 6,000 pictures.
Then you can do the screen share thingy. Share,
I can.
share,
Oh,
share,
you
share.
everybody
Oh.
wants to see it?
Everyone wants to see the
Okay.
fish
I really,
costume.
they can't.
Marcus Ross fish
It's
costume.
so important. This is like the most important part of your origin story, Marcus. We don't care about your game design now. We just
The
need
problem
fish
is it started a trend. So like when I did my bee game, I had a beekeeper suit. I wore that to Gen Con when we saw
I didn't know costumes were your thing, and now I need to see them all.
It's hard to have that be your thing. Did Sin freeze again?
Keep talking,
Oh,
guys. This
he's
might
just.
take...
Yep.
I just thought.
I mean, I can't tell. Sometimes he just goes very still, like he's hunting.
I can't. Even
I think
make
he's
him that
actually
still.
frozen, but it is really hard to tell. In the meantime, while we wait for this delightful fish costume, what else have you done? Like, what other things? I mean, you've designed something, right? Tell us what you designed.
A few games.
It's one or two.
We mentioned Discount Salmon. We mentioned Bees with 5 E's because there's several different bee games now.
That's important.
I did a game called Let Her Go. That's a party word game. It's fun and cute and has very little to do with spelling words. And my newest game is a Lord of the Rings game I did with Ravensburger. So me and Jay Little designed that one. It's pretty awesome. I enjoy that one quite a bit.
I'm sure you've been involved in some other things, have you not? Which ones won contests? Or
well, sure. So the salmon one won a contest. The bees game won a contest. That actually got picked up by Action Phase Games, which is now part of Indie Boards and Cards. I won the Haba design contest once, and then I think third place a different time. So we do okay with contests.
Yeah, it does sound that way.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me, when you're thinking about designing a game, if you're thinking about doing it for a contest, oh my goodness.
Well, you found the fish costume and so many other things happening.
Oh, the expression on your face too. It's just like, what even am I doing here?
Oh, I will find more of this stuff and send you guys.
This is delightful. And I think I was saying so. Oh, yes, right.
Oh, we lost her.
I went away.
You went away. You just your camera. I can still hear you. So you can still ask the question. Now you're back. Okay.
Now I'm back. Okay. What is even happening? I was asking you, when you're designing, do you think about designing for a contest?
If I'm designing for a contest, I think specifically about that contest. The thing that puts you ahead of like half the entries is read the rules to the contest. Just look at what they're asking for. Don't just submit anything you're working on because like, oh, I've been working on this. It's really great. No, if it's a contest for 18 cards, design an 18 card game.
Not 19, not 17.
Exactly.
Not 200.
Not 200.
200 is right
no
out.
Cards. This one's got tiles. It's fine.
And most of the time they want something that's completely for that contest. So most of the time that's what you're dealing with. And
so you're talking about the type of contest where they like design a game for this thing rather than the type of contest where like you have a game that's in progress and you can enter it, like Cardboard Edison maybe and the Ion Awards and things like that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you could do those contests as well. But you gotta have something really good, something you've been working on for a while, because those contests in particular get strong entries.
Yeah, that's a good point. There's different levels of contest, right? There's
exactly. I think we're talking about different kinds of.
Well, I mean, let's unpack that for a second. So, like BGG will have a lot of contests. There's even daily things that you could do. Where I mean, like last week we had Sash on, and he runs a TikTok where every day he has like a
game jam.
Yeah, game jam prompt, right?
Only for January though. He's not going to do that forever. That's a lot.
The whole year,
every last one you can see it today. But yeah, even those are like good prompts to design something for that day or think about that type of design today. And then BGG has often a lot of contests that are just run by people. They're not like official contests. And then some companies will say, hey, we're going to do XYZ. and they'll take your game and it'll become theirs afterwards. And I think the design community has a little bit of a problem with those ones.
Well, I mean, as long as you know what you're signing up for
Yeah,
when
yeah.
you enter those contests, I don't have a problem with them. Most of your ideas are not going to get made into anything. They'll just be. So that's fine. If for the right company of the right size, sure, this idea is yours for 3 years. That's fine.
Especially when it's like an idea that, you basically sat down, wrote it out, and sent it through. Like it's you may have made a quick paper test or something like that. But like, if they're doing that with something that you've just spent 5 years on, no.
Yeah.
I think it's very case by case. It
Yeah.
depends, but I've probably got 100 ideas. I'd love to see more than 5 during this stuff.
And I think you're right that Marcus, that it is up to it's like buyer beware, right? The rules.
Absolutely.
As long as you're aware, go right ahead. It's like people who say stuff like, you shouldn't be asking for, say, an artist to do art pro bono or art for a percentage of the eventual profits from this thing, but that may never make a profit. And you're right. I mean, maybe you shouldn't ask, but also somebody might want to do that, and that's okay as long as they want to do it, and that's not the only model that you have. I think that's okay. That's okay.
I think it's more also knowing exactly who you're dealing with. How do the people in charge, how do they treat their other designers?
Yes.
Just
am I willing to be connected to this? Is this what I want to have as part of my portfolio in some way? All of those sorts of things. And so, like, when you're looking at a competition, obviously you're going to look at the rules, you're going to look at the small print to see what happens to your competition entry. What else should people be looking for when they're deciding whether or not to enter a competition or a contest?
So time commitment, one of mine. So I know for the competition we won with bees, it was to be judged if you made the finalists at a convention. So you had to be able to go to that convention and present to a panel of judges. And that, if that consideration is out, don't bother entering. It's just
that's a good point.
You're gonna make your own life harder.
We entered Festival a few years ago, actually at the same time as Steam Up.
And that's
so they won, I believe.
Oh, did they?
We didn't get selected, which was fine. It was just I'm going to practice entering a competition. This one looks interesting,
and there's value in that too.
Absolutely. And part of that was actually that ideally they wanted you to be able to go to Festival, which I think is in Denmark. That's a thing when you live in New Zealand.
Or anywhere that's not that in
Denmark.
Europe, right?
I mean, it's further for us. It's a lot further and a lot more expensive. So we were like, I mean, we'll try. But, we're also like, oh, we didn't make it. Because a trip to Denmark would be fine.
Are you as far from Denmark now as you were when you were in New Zealand? That's an interesting question, actually.
That sounds like maths.
Yeah, like what's further? I actually don't know if Portland is further from Denmark than.
Gonna have a little look.
New Zealand
talk amongst yourselves for a second.
Because Denmark would be GMT +1-ish.
Yeah, but now you're
like
circumference problems.
GMT minus.
It's not going to be.
I believe that the travel time would still be considerably longer.
Oh yeah, so that's true, right? Because of all the
which is the main problem for us, and also the cost.
But the distance, I'm just saying distance.
Distance-wise, I mean, the globe is.
Oh wow, that is a very long flight.
Circular.
Yeah, right. The Mercator protection is all effed up, so I don't really.
Yeah,
I can't picture it in my head.
We're talking 40 to 60 hours of travel on average. Just having a quick look at what the flight offerings are.
I can walk
telling me
Nebraska
3 days in the airplane,
and it's more like 20 hours from here.
I'll never get there.
The fact that the way that it's serviced, I think, is a big part of it. And like there's a lot more that's going there. There are fewer stops.
I'm sure we had unlimited funds. We could get you there just as fast.
I've never flown internationally. This is terrifying.
In my private plane.
You've never flown international before?
No.
Well, we've got to get you a Spiel des Jahres.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be fun.
Right? So we have some comments.
I can be your companion.
Yeah,
I will help you.
We have some comments in the comments. Jesse Fernandez asks if we've ever heard of the Global Game Jam. It's a yearly global game contest with a different theme, sentence, phrase every year. That's good. Dave Thomas said that he is submitting a game this year for Cardboard Edison, and the game he's been working on it for about 5 years. So yeah, you're right, Marcus. Cardboard Edison has a little bit more of that.
Just the
level
of games they can get.
Yeah,
is high.
It's different, right? And then Jessica was saying that she intended to, submit some stuff or work on something, but she's been buying a house, so that ate up her whole month, and she just couldn't cram in.
That's very strange.
Jess, sometimes life has to, something's got to go, right? And David was cramming for the contest. And so that's interesting because that's the thing I think is useful about contests is that it gives you constraints. It gives you hard time limits. It says you need to have stuff here and you have to work to a brief, which is literally my job, right? So I think that's a good thing. The thing I don't like about contests, because Jay and I used to enter them in our younger days, I guess. I don't know.
Sure.
And so this is a funny story because one of Kat's favorite games is Akrotiri. So Akrotiri did not win the year that it got submitted to a contest, and then it went on to
that contest is dumb.
Do things. It was the Canadian Game Design of the Year award, and something else won, and that's okay. And the problem with it for us is that it took the game out of publication circulation because a lot of contests say we don't want something that is being considered or is published, because once it becomes published, then it doesn't really fit our mandate or whatever. And so we had this game sitting out there
on pause
for a long time, on pause, 6 months, and it's we could have pitched it all that time. And I mean, eventually it got pitched and it did well and all that kind of stuff. By the way, if any publishers are watching, it's available because the rights are reverted. Anyways, just saying.
I thought you were about to tell me someone picked it up.
It may not be a contest winner, but it is a really good game that people love.
It is such a good game.
But my point being, anyway, that that's my big thing against contests. But everything else about contests is really cool. And I think, Marcus, the way that you do it is smart in terms of hey, this is a idea that I had for this thing only. It wasn't something that you've invested 5-6 years in.
Honestly,
right?
Just know what you want to get out of these contests. If winning is super important to you. I have a friend for whom winning is the only reason he enters contests. And it's I wouldn't do that. You are setting yourself up to get crushed. It's you don't know who's judging. You don't know what they're judging on. You don't know what they're feeling on the day they're doing their judging.
That's so important.
The contest is for you.
Yes.
It's for me, I use them in a lot of the same ways. So you were saying that there was that daily game design challenge. I just wanted all right, these are the box. This is the constraint. Let me put something in here. It gets my name out into the community more. It shows that I can read, comprehend, and come up with something on a short timeline.
Right.
So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why I entered several of the Game Crafter competitions as well. It was just, this helps me make sure that I actually get something all the way done, get it out there,
learn how to use the Game Crafter,
things, upload it, learn how to do a page to talk about the game, make sure I've actually finished a rule book, all of those things that you tend not to do if you're just unsupervised and floating around,
That is a really good point, because a lot of them do require you to go through all the steps it would take to get a game in a pitch ready format, right? Dave Thomas says that he's been using contests to help him set up deadlines to get things done. Don't always submit, but it gives them something to aim at, and that might be good enough, right? It's a parameter designed to the parameters, designed to the limits that they set. You don't have to.
Oh, crud.
Alrighty. You don't have to.
I think that's important.
I'm going to guess what he's going to say. I don't know if I'm going to get it right, though. You don't have to actually submit it. You can just use that as a practice run. Did I get it right?
Yes.
Oh, great, because you froze.
Oh, well, sorry.
You're like, you don't have to.
It's not your fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a new thing. Jessica is talking about that she had a lot of work done, but she just didn't have time to make the video. And that's kind of been a thing over the last couple of years, and definitely over the pandemic. So it's been around for
Yeah.
like 5-6 years, where video has been the thing. And it's funny because Marcus will remember this, that way back when we always had this
Oh, I think he just called you old, Marcus.
as old
You
as
can.
me.
Look at the gray. It's coming in. I can't hide it.
You can't hide it. That back in the day, we always had arguments against video because it would be gatekeeping, because not everybody had a good video camera. This is before everybody had a phone that
It
was
was
really good at this
everything.
stuff. It was quite funny, quite funny. But still,
Mm.
even then, you know, you get people who are really good at video production having that slight edge.
Yeah, it's expected now too. I mean,
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
if you're pitching a game for publication, you need a sizzle reel. I'm like, I don't want to do a sizzle reel.
I
And
don't want
it's
to
very
spend
different
30
from
hours
just
making
like
a
a
30-second video. But
like a how to play video can. I mean, not that long ago, it could just be me sitting there going, I have my game and it is about ducks, and this is a duck that you use in the game, and you move the duck
No,
from one
not
place
if you
to
want to
another,
sell
and
it.
that
You're
is
gonna
my
have to
game.
make it. You're gonna have to make it look exciting.
And now it's like ducks. There are
I will
ducks in my game.
I will say you probably still could
You probably
if the game was compelling.
Yeah, but how do you get past the fact that some people just don't know how to sell their game? Like,
Well,
that's
I mean
the problem.
that's always been a problem.
Yeah,
That's always been a
but the
problem.
video
and-
emphasizes that.
oh
which is
yeah,
rough.
sure. It does
Yeah.
accelerate the issue a little bit.
Yeah.
But I will say this, that I think, you know, if you're pitching and publishers are just so caught up in a video or something, maybe they're not the publisher for you, and that's okay.
It's true.
Because some games just don't sell that way. Some games just don't. I know we're moving into that kind of, it has to sell that way, but I'll tell you again, it doesn't. It's just a lot of people are very interested in things that instantly they know what it's about.
In
I
a
look at
world
it-
where games
Yeah.
about ducks are really
But as I
important.
if I look at it and I can tell what I'm supposed to do, that game can sell itself. That's a better sell. That's
people
easier for
want
me to pick up.
games. Well, let me say this again. Publishers want games I can sell on TikTok in 5 seconds. And I'm
Yes.
just like, I don't have that game for you guys. I'll think about it though.
I'll make
I'll figure it
Tapple.
out.
Let's make
I'll
Tapple
figure-
a game.
I mean, that in itself is almost like a contest constraint.
Sure.
It really is.
And I mean that
that's
is a
one of the
design
new
constraint.
things.
So Eric and I were actually talking about this last night on Ludology with Dave Chalker, who is the co-designer of Thunder Road.
My favorite game last year.
Yeah,
So
it's a
good.
great one. It's like my second. It's probably top 3 for sure.
Mhm.
It's moving down.
The only one that was up on my list was higher for sure was like Robot Quest Arena. I really like Robot Quest Arena. Anyway, so we were talking about it last night and about how Erica and her job, because she works for Spin Master, which is mass market, that's actually a legit consideration for her. Is what's it going to look like in vertical format, right?
Of
Mhm.
course. That's
Like,
really
how,
important.
how when somebody unboxes
That's-
this, what's their experience,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
And
Yeah,
that's
and-
not the designer's job per se, but you know, if you
It's
think
not,
about
but
that,
if you
when
show that
doing
you're
your product
thinking about
design-
it, if you can show that in the pitch that you're thinking about it,
exactly.
Yes.
that's another little feather in your cap.
Yeah, it's
Now-
just another thing that the publisher doesn't have to waste their brain energy doing, right? So
Mhm.
I know that someone out there is going, what are those actual distances? So just really quickly, from Wellington, New Zealand to Denmark, it is 18,029 kilometers. And that's, I'm sorry, I don't have that in freedom units for you. Now, from Portland, Oregon to Denmark is 7,847 kilometers.
Wow,
That
so it's
is
almost-
considerably smaller.
Wow.
it's
is
almost
much,
3
much
times
less.
as much, almost.
That's so much.
Yes.
I-
So,
But not
you
quite.
know that
I don't-
projection that you're used to seeing that makes
The
it look like
Mercator
this top half
projection.
of the this top half of the world super big, the rest not so big. No, there's lots and lots of extra world there that you have to get across in order to get from New
Yeah,
Zealand.
and
to
that's
things.
that's
So
why
it's
that's why I
there's a whole
asked,
lot of
because
world.
it's like I don't
It's big.
know, but because
Mhm.
of how we project specifically, Europe and North America, it just looks huge.
What do they pay those pilots to just do that route over and over?
That's why there aren't many. I guess, I don't know.
I would not.
They have an autopilot for a lot of it, and they actually can and do sleep.
Are they roaming about the cabin?
They have beds that like they take turns, and some of them sleep some of the time, all that kind of thing. It's yeah.
So
I mean, you're not
like,
sitting there the whole time going drive plane, drive plane, drive plane.
Like it's a husband-wife team driving a truck cross country.
Yeah. Hopefully only one of them is sleeping at the time. Troy has an interesting proposal here. He said, that's a funny term to use here.
Goodness.
Grant-based game creation is maybe a parallel to game contest. It's building a game to fit a specific niche in order to get funding.
And building yourself that way as well in a lot of cases. Like, how do you present yourself in order to, like...
Where do I sign up for that? Because I could do that.
Yeah, so that, I mean, even like the Zenobia Awards, things like that, which are quite more niche.
Where you put the pitch in first and then you get the game.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of getting to that level of stuff in the tabletop area. Hey, Marcus, Jessica's asking you a question.
Oh, okay.
She says, when you are submitting a game, do you treat it as an exercise in keeping a deadline, Marcus?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's half the reason to do it. It's like, if left to my own devices, I probably have 8 projects in this house that aren't even games that are 80% done. But because no one is waiting on them.
That's all that matters. You just need to get them that far, right? And then it's
completely like that too. So I mean, social media has really helped me out a lot in that. Like, I'll just put little accountability posts, and hopefully if somebody likes it, I go, okay, somebody knows that I have to do this. I guess I should do it, right?
Absolutely.
Left to my own devices.
That's why I put my to-do list on social media.
Marcus and I would just be like twiddling our thumbs going, I don't think we have anything to do today. Let's play a game.
Left to my own devices. I have so many devices.
Right? Sasha says...
we have so many comments.
Yeah, it's great. Sasha said, I had a great time doing a TGC
Game
Crafter contest as sort of a game jam. Still love the game and plan to develop. Like, right? Yeah. That's it. So even just doing those game jams, like we did one on air live with Fertessa and J Bell, and some of us have kept those projects going because some
of us achieved nothing and did not, and that's also fine.
That's even better, because if you can go, this is not enough to continue, and you can actually put it aside.
Yeah,
what a gift! Because like my longest gestating prototype is still with me, and I should just let it go, but I can't.
Well, that's another thing that designing for contests teaches you to do, though, right? Because you sort of have to go, okay, well, I have all of these ideas, and I'm going to drop these ones because they don't fit what I need to work on right now, and that is a skill.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that one, Marcus? When you have like 50 ideas and you're like, how do I choose which one to develop?
When you find out, let me know, because that's what all this.
I'm not showing you all of mine, but you can see the edges of it poking into them.
I've got a box down here that's just dice.
What's it for?
That sounds fine.
What's it for? What isn't it for?
I have containers full of dice over there. Like
I have 2 different dice games I'm working on. Neither one is like ready,
but you have the dice.
I'm taking them to Protospiel. So
hey, which is happening this weekend?
This weekend up in Minnesota.
Which one?
Protospiel, Minnesota.
Protospiel, Minnesota.
Oh, right. Okay.
So I have to pack everything and charge the car. Yeah, I haven't done any of that.
And decide which prototypes are coming.
How do you find driving the old electric car?
It's fine. You just have to charge it probably an extra time because it's winter. Winter's not good on the car, but
right. Winter's not really great on any car, but at least in a IC engine, you can like go.
Well, I mean, it takes longer to charge and you charge more often. Yes.
Yeah.
And we should say a quick hi to all these extra people who've joined us. Actually,
no, not yet. No.
What?
Oh,
I'm kidding. You can. Of course you can.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, David. Hi. Who else have we got? Troy.
Jesse.
Hi, Jesse. Sasha. David, I already said. Matt Paquette. Hey, Matt.
You're
Rebecca.
a bunch of people with bad eyes reading very small text. You guys are all
I think I've got
leaning in.
everyone. If I
My
didn't
eyes
say your
have
name,
recently
comment
started
now
just-
so that I know to say hello to you as well.
Yes, that's what we call presbyopia.
I've had to start doing this to read things,
Yes,
and I'm
because-
so unhappy.
Do you want to know what's actually happening to your eyes, Mark?
No.
I'm not certain that I do, but I will take the information because now that I know it's available, I have to have it.
Okay, so what's happening to your eyes as you age is that there's a film of just junk that gets covered on it, right? And it hardens the eye, really. And so the muscles around the eye are also getting weaker at this time. And what happens is that your eye the muscles can't deform the lens anymore to accommodate for distance.
I'm not listening.
Which is how your eye accommodates for
Okay.
being at certain distances, right? And so, especially nowadays, we're actually seeing people have effects earlier because of computer screens. Like back in our parents' day,
That's not good. Do you know how many computers I work on?
I know. Back in our parents' day, they didn't really have this working distance that we have. They had book reading distance and everything else. We have
Oh no.
book reading distance, which is like here. We have computer distance, which is like an arm's width away, and then we have everything else. And so, like, I have trifocals built in.
Oh no.
My
This is still
lenses
single-
are like
This is still
$700
single
for my
vision.
lenses.
Oh
And it
my
won't be
God.
for long, my friend. As that gray
don't like
comes
this.
in,
I don't like
the eyes
this.
get weaker. This is just normal aging, though. This is normal aging. It'll happen to you. It'll happen to everybody.
No, look,
Don't worry.
the day I turned 40, it was like the 90-day warranty on all of this.
This
Just
whole
like, it's over. It's
Yeah.
over.
right.
Okay.
That's
You had
funny.
to redefine injury.
Sasha was talking about TGC contests. So how
Mhm.
often does the Game Crafter have contests?
I think they have one once.
Pretty
a month.
often. They've usually got at least one, possibly two running at the same time. I've entered quite a few of them, and I've made it into the semis a couple of times. I think I might have made it into the finals once. Yeah,
Mhm.
but you know, it's
Yeah.
I find those things really interesting. Like I also designed fabrics for Spoonflower based on their challenges and things like that. I
Oh, that's
never
fun.
really placed, but it's
Oh,
It's
no.
great.
But then
to have those
you
things.
have stuff and people might see it. I actually like that one a lot. I'm going to go buy it now that the print is available, right?
Yeah.
Dave Thomas says being able to design to a brief is a really important skill and one that a lot of people don't put enough effort towards. And I believe you're correct, Mr. Thomas. So
Yeah.
actually, talk about that for a second,
Hmm.
Marcus, because you actually designed to one of the biggest IP briefs in the world in Lord of the Rings, right?
Let's
I
say what a brief
did.
is first, just in case there's
Yeah.
anyone in the audience who doesn't know. Tell us what a brief is, Marcus.
Basically, for Lord of the Rings, let me just grab one here. I was tasked with continuing the adventure book series line of games. And they had previously done The Princess Bride and the Wizard of Oz. And it was to adapt this game system for the Lord of the Rings trilogy as presented in the movies. And I worked on that with Jay Little, and it was basically a series of mini puzzles that you play with figures in a book format. And the puzzles are all solved with cards and trading between the players, and we just had to come up with innovative ways. Like, so they sent us the first two games, and like, here's how this game works. Here's 20 puzzles you can't use.
Oh,
I need
and then off you go.
8 more. Go. So
generally a brief is like an outline of what they're looking for from you, right? So it would be something like we want a game for 2 to 4 players that'll take around about 60 minutes to play and will fit into this universe and will cost around about this much to build potentially, or those sorts of things, or will retail, looks like it'll retail at this price point, or
and
those sorts
specifically
of
for the
things,
adventure
right?
book line, all of that was built in. It's got to support 4 players. It's got to be 20 minutes a chapter. It's got to be sell for $30. The number of parts we could use was set. The number of minifigures we could get was pretty much set. It was like
Just
the
like
box
a
we had to
contest.
play in was a lot of constraints.
Was that
And,
hard
like,
for you?
It was intense. I don't know that I'd call it hard. The thing that was hardest was I'd have an idea about how I'd like a chapter to go, and they go, "No, I don't like that idea. Do a different idea." I'm like, okay, throw that one away and start over. It's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Or if you had one that was like close, it's like, that's good. I need it to be better. And you're like, okay, let me go
So
think
can you
about how
define
to
better
be
for me?
better.
No, just
Yeah,
go away and make it better.
no. Just it needs to be faster. It needs to be more challenging here. It's like okay. So you just. But the thing that made that one such a intense project was the time crunch, because like
Yeah, I
it had
remember
a
that.
date, and it had an NDA, so I couldn't tell anybody I was working on it, which meant I didn't have very many people to bounce ideas off of. I had the development crew, and we had our playtesters, and I had Jay, and that was it.
Yeah,
I think that would be the hardest thing for me.
I couldn't even tell anybody else the IP.
Yeah,
just tell them I was working on something for Ravensburger.
Yeah, I bet you if you had asked Ravensburger, you might have been able to get some other people on NDA just to like bounce ideas off.
Yeah,
of, but like
eventually I got there, but
yeah,
oof.
That's hard. And did anything ever come back from the licensor? Was it the licensor that ever said no? That doesn't fit with
No, surprisingly not. Well, it helped that Jay and I were both just
nerds.
Rings nerds. Yeah, we're nerds.
Yeah,
we're nerds. Like I watched those movies when they came out. I
haven't heard of them.
What? You have.
Where were they filmed?
You come from the country of the. You come from Hobbit land.
Yeah.
What's a hobbit?
I do believe everyone over 6 foot tall was in that movie, so you know. I think they just kidnapped people if they could see you over the fence. It's like you are now an extra. Get in this movie.
I did see several call outs that were pretty much if you fit this physical build, show up here tomorrow.
Yeah.
And
they just had a line over the door in the pub. If you just walk past that line, then
you're in. Marcus, Jessica asks, do you use contests to train creativity behaviors and keep your energy going? That's a really neat question. I like you, Jessica. You ask good questions.
It's almost my main motivation for doing it, because like most of the time you're not going to win. And I don't even enter contests that have real stakes most of the time. It's just like, oh yeah, you'll be the winner.
I think that's even
what
better.
You just said is really important. Most of the time you're not going to win.
Oh,
just absorb that, people. It's okay to enter and not aim to win it.
That is my general game design goal. I mean, when you sit down to play a game and it's like a 5-person game, 4 of those people are going to lose. They need to have a good time. Otherwise, your game is not good.
Right?
Your game has to be fun to lose. So when I'm entering a contest, I go in with the same philosophy.
Excellent.
I am now in a 500-player game. You're not going to win.
Right?
And then you send them feedback. Your game was dumb and I didn't enjoy losing it. Don't do that. That was not advice.
1 star.
George asks, do you have a general plan for how you divide up your time for contests between things like design, playtest polish, creation of the assets?
I take the deadline for the last possible day you can enter the contest and I circle it. And then I forget about it for 3 weeks. And then I'm like, oh crap, that contest is coming up. I'm still going to do that.
And then you scream for an entire week.
Then I scream for an entire week. I have a game design group that meets every Tuesday here. So I can, if I can throw something together and put it on a table, I'm happy to do that and throw it in front of my guys. Like, hey guys, this is for a contest. What do you think? And they're like, terrible. That's fine. Just give me something I can work with and iterate on.
Set it on fire.
You can do that.
And then
that's the game. Well done. You found out what the game was. Set it on fire.
Once I get to something actually playable, I will actually fire up the computer and design files. It's like before that, it's all markers and index
you're
cards.
one of those paper designers.
Yeah, a little bit.
What's wrong with paper designers?
Nothing.
Look, it's not even
it's interesting.
It's not even so much on paper design. I want things in my hands faster than I can design them, because I don't have that artistic skill, but I know where things should go on cards, and I can definitely put that down faster and see if the idea has any merit before I spend real time on it.
There you go.
I mean, that's a very good way of doing it.
You need your very own Matt Paquette. Matt Paquette knows exactly where to put things and make things on cards. He's really good at it. Rebecca. Hey, Rebecca. I haven't seen Rebecca in a while. Rebecca is one of my favorite people Because she's a librarian. That's it. That's the only reason why. No, she's awesome. And I also like librarians a lot. So she happens to be
Librarians are
both those
amazing.
things.
Thank you for your service.
Yes, thank you for your service. Rebecca says that she judged for a board game design workshop contest for a
couple of years.
Yeah. For a couple of years and loved doing it, just haven't had the bandwidth lately. And I agree about the vast difference between videos. Some folks just aren't comfortable in front of a camera, but it does feel awkward when the designer, where'd that go? There's more. When the designer can't be excited about their game on video. Oh, I see. Yes. I get that. So
it's very difficult as a designer to actually, when you're talking about your game, to actually project that excitement, though, because you're also in front of a video camera and you're trying to remember to say all the things and you're terrified and also you've done this 10 times now. And how do I make this sound like
it's
I
a
care?
Game about
what am I doing?
Ducks.
Yes, like, exactly. Ducks.
You're doing this on purpose with your free time. It's like, find the excitement. But I get it. Like when I'm doing my videos, I'm writing everything down, and then I do like text to speech script and then put it on a teleprompter.
Yeah. I mean, that's
so bad.
So
my text to speech is George. I just basically generally just before I fall asleep, I'm like, George, blah, 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 and he writes it down and sends it to me in the morning.
There you go. We script everything. Like we have to, just because, and then we practice it, because sometimes what I write versus what it sounds like when you say it.
Oh yeah,
horribly different.
Scripting is
it reads
hard.
really well, but it doesn't sound good, or it trips off your tongue because you can't say those words together in a fluid fashion, right? So it's an art form. It really is. And if you are doing them and you're good at that, that's great. If you're not good at it, I mean, there are courses that you can take to get better at public speaking and whatnot, but I know, I get it.
More respect for screenwriters.
Yes. I mean, we've just had perfect examples of that on every one of these episodes when we're reading out what people have typed. Because when you read it in your head and what's typed, it makes lots of sense. But when you're actually trying to read it out loud, it just doesn't have the same vibe.
Yeah, and that's why I change a lot of words while I'm reading them. Hey, Troy is saying this is about grant funding and things like that. So Dave Thomas is saying, and Dave is an educational designer by trade. So I've designed educational video games based on grant funding and done one educational card game on grant funding. And then Troy is saying, find your local government agency which is looking for something you can do with games and see what they are offering grants to teach. Right? Because a lot of it is just like, we need to teach this to students. And you're like, well, how about in a game form? And they'll be like, yes.
Oh,
here's some monies.
Games designed by teachers, just there's a quality difference.
Hey, I'm a teacher.
Yeah.
Sometimes you find the teacher knows what they're doing, but most of the time it's like, whew.
Well, teachers who aren't game
Monopoly is back.
Troy is completely correct. Grant writing is a game with its own set of rules too, so be aware. I hate writing grants. Well, it's the funny thing. So I'm really, really good at writing grants, but I hate that my existence depends on writing grants.
You mean grant applications?
Yeah. So my job at a university sometimes, it doesn't anymore because I'm at a teaching college. But when I was at a research school, it was like, your job sort of depends on how much grant money you bring in, right? So it's like, I'm a clinical therapist. I'm not a research psychologist, so I don't.
I have
really
friends
care.
who have that same kind of job, and
it's no fun once it becomes just about that, right? Like if I wanted to, and this is why I don't love research. I love research. I don't love the grant writing application.
You love the research part, not the.
I love
the able to do
I love I love the research part. I love talking about research. I love applying the research even more than all of that, like in practice. But I do not love grant writing.
If you were independently wealthy,
I'm really good at it,
which is weird. I mean,
Troy also said that being independently wealthy solves 99% of the world's problems. So that's all we have to do.
Really, truly does.
Is get me to be well, all of us. Let's spread the wealth. Come on, just
only one of us has to
all
be
three of us.
independently wealthy, and then
For
we'll
all,
all
then
be
we'll all
fine.
be independently wealthy. That's right. Rebecca's saying that she loves game jams and that she's had a lot of fun introducing game jams to library folk as event opportunities. Yes. So here's something that I don't know if I can do this year, Rebecca, but if anybody out there can go to the I don't know what it is called anymore, Rebecca. It's like the American Librarians Association. Yeah, ALA, the American Library Association's conference, which I believe is in San Diego this year, right before Comic-Con, maybe. It's somewhere in that area. Anyways, somebody who's a game designer should go. That's all I'm saying. Because I think they would love you to death. And libraries are a wonderful institution that the world needs more of, and that we should support. So there you go. Yeah, no, it's also, I think it's me, Troy, that's making the stream skip. So I just realized that it is at the end of the month. And here in Canada, what happens at the end of the month is if you've used
Dial up.
No, if you've used X percentage of your wireless stuff, they'll throttle you at the end of the month.
Yes.
Just so you don't go over.
Oh, you're being rational.
In New Zealand, they would slow you down to basically dial up.
Yeah, well, I guess that's what you're saying. Yeah.
That's
Which
how
is
far
which
back
is
we got
so
throttled.
funny because y'all don't understand just how much we pay for internet in Canada. It's like ridiculous. It's a lot of money. Like you guys in America, you have it good in that
I
regard.
pay for it in inconvenience.
Oh, okay, well there you go. Right.
I thought it was going to be faster and better and cheaper, and none of those things have happened.
No, absolutely.
I was very unimpressed with how not cheaper and not faster and not better it was.
Matt is talking about how I told Matt about his eyes one day too. No, it's just because I teach developmental psychology.
You're not going to do it again, are you?
No, I teach developmental psychology, so I talk about aging.
Wait, are you squeamish about aging?
No, I just don't want to think about things like that. I don't.
Oh,
like
okay.
it.
Because like I can't do contacts because I'm squeamish about my eyes. So it's just not.
Yeah. No.
So Troy says building to a brief sounds awesome because you aren't building from scratch. You're expanding an existing working game. That's my jam. So sometimes you're creating from scratch. Like they're like, hey, we need this thing, a game that does this. Do it.
Creating from scratch.
A brief doesn't mean that you're coming from another. Like a brief simply means that someone has given you an outline. It doesn't mean that the outline is related to an IP or anything else. All it means is, so like as an artist, I would get a brief that says, I want a portrait of my dog and I want it to be in A4 and I want it black and white and I want it to cost me $65.
Yeah. And so you go, okay, that'll be like an hour or 2 hours of work at the most, right?
Yeah.
Blah, 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 right? Because you're costing out your time. So yeah, it's sort of the thing that comes in before like a scope of work. Right, so it's like
it's a summary. That's why it's brief.
Yeah, it's small. Do you accept it? Now we'll blow that out into your scope of work. Do you accept that? Okay, good. Then we're going to do the whole contractual agreement.
Yeah, I need some constraint. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen. It's like you can do anything. I'm like,
apparently, people are talking a lot because we're still on the prancing pony.
Yeah.
See, people are saying, Jess is saying that you, Kat, lived upstairs from the prancing pony, right?
Is that where you used to live in New Zealand?
No, it's
no.
No.
Dave is saying here that the feedback, getting your name at, is winning in a contest. I think that's a great.
Oh, absolutely.
Great way to put it.
A lot of times the judges for those contests are other people who are into game design as publishers or designers
and the comments that you get on the game you submit can be extremely useful or really unhelpful, as I experienced in one situation. But generally, getting feedback on your game is always good, even if it just tells you that these people here are not the people who will be interested.
They're not the audience for you, and that's okay.
I'm getting in my car and driving to Minnesota for feedback. That's what I'm going for.
Yeah,
right. All the feedback you can handle. George is saying that he finds the excitement thing incredibly hard. He thinks in interesting, engaging, thought-provoking. So when he's maybe making a video, that's what he's focusing on, but almost never exciting. And I think maybe we have to kind of say, but how do we capture somebody's imagination,
I'm-
right? And I think when you have an
In
interesting
a world where ducks.
You have to concede that the game just might not be pitchable as a video. I mean,
and that's okay
Acquire
too.
is on its umpteenth reprint, and I defy you to sell that game.
Oh, can somebody?
People,
I
friggin'
will
spreadsheet.
challenge all of you out there to make a video about Acquire and like sell it. Like in a world where spreadsheets are awesome. Spreadsheets are awesome. Don't ever say otherwise.
I don't know. I think that would actually sell it to
Catch
at
the
least some
exciting
people.
bit is I'm going to merge these cells,
Ooh.
and then
right. And
they're
see,
all
Dave
gonna
Thomas
turn green.
Dave is saying again, because in instructional design, a lot of it is like, how do you teach this well on video? How do you word this so it flows well and it's concise but precise, right? And so he's saying, thankfully, that he works on a lot of video scripts for work, but it's another skill that most designers almost never have to do.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, people, that you should try, because it'll actually make your rule writing more concise and better.
And it makes your pitches better, your teachers better.
It really does. And because that, like, a lot of what I do is writing, I'm the guy on the team that does all the writing stuff always. And then I bounce it off Jay or Alara or whoever I'm working with, or Banana. Banana also does a lot of writing. And then we just kind of massage it down to like, what is the best thing? So find yourself some BFFs who like reading what you write. Get a mirror and practice in the mirror. Record yourself like just on your phone. It's not as hard as you think. You might not like your voice, but yeah.
Just ad hoc it. If you don't, that means off the cuff. If you're not sure, like, how to write a script, just basically record yourself talking to your phone or talking to whatever over and over and over and over, and then listen to those things, and you will actually have all the content you need in there. You just won't necessarily get it right the first few times.
Pull it out. Yes.
Just sit there and talk about your game to yourself or to a friend if you're not good at talking to yourself. Like, record a phone call.
Yeah. I often tell people
Zoom.
to do that. Yeah.
I use an app called Otter. It does text to speech.
Oh, you're the one that I learned Otter from, actually.
Okay.
Because we had talked about that once. I think you were using it in front of me. I said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Oh, this is so cool, son. It's Otter."
Oh, this just changed tone. You were using your what?
Oh, yeah. He was showing me
right in front of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Goodness gracious!
What happens?
FaceTime networking
stays at Otter. It was actually at Origins.
It might have been at that's probably it.
Yeah, it was cool. And yes, grant writing sucks, but you can always work with somebody who's won one. Rebecca is saying yes. Here we go. I was right. It is in San Diego, but it's in June.
It's in Dan Diego.
June, right into July. Yes.
Yeah.
It's Dan Diego.
Dan Diego.
Dan Diego sounds like my good friend who likes burritos. Hey, Dan Diego.
Who doesn't like burritos? There's a burrito for everyone.
Right. Yep.
Thinking of you right now, Ross Thompson.
Yeah. So,
burritos.
Yes, exactly. Ross loves burritos. If you're a designer in the San Diego area, come to our game night events June 28th at the hotel that the ALA is going to be hosted at or around there. And Rebecca can get you a table to demo your games to library workers. Just message her for the info. Rebecca is on most of the channels as Rebecca Strang. You can find her. She is wonderful, lovely, and so helpful, which is why I love librarians, because they are all wonderful, lovely, and super helpful for the most part. I'm sure I've met a kind of crotchety old one every now and then, but they also deserve my respect because they know lots of stuff and where to find it. Topic of exciting spreadsheets. Check out the book Hench. We got from spreadsheets and books to Hench. The main plot is a disgruntled superhero sidekick, like a henchman, yes, who gets injured and then turns to villainous work, leveraging data and spreadsheets.
That's phenomenal.
I am in. Terrible.
I am 100% in. Thank you so much for that recommendation.
I'm actually making a note.
Rebecca, do you have that at the library?
Yeah.
What's your note? Rebecca? Don't read Hench.
No, I'm up for it. I need books.
Oh, this is so funny. Troy's like, yeah, writing that script stuff. It is related to making a good rule book, which is why designers are also bad at it. Yeah.
Fully admit I do not write my rules until I am done.
I do too, but I write. What I do is I make player aids.
They're in flux. Yes, I do make player aids.
And so a lot of my language is visual, and then I just transform it later once we finalize it into written language. That when it's based on visual language is actually more concise, to be honest, right? Yeah, and the other benefit Dave said, and I think Kat, you said this too. You'll end up developing your elevator pitch while you're talking about your game, while you're trying to go over and over it on your voice recorder into Otter, whatever, right?
And it helps you identify the things that are actually interesting about your game, because if you personally are talking about them each time you try and talk about them, that's probably your hook. That's probably your thing that you want to tell people. And if you're not talking about that thing, then you need to practice talking about that thing, which is also a good reason to practice talking about
we should have a show on bait and hook at some point, just because it needs to be talked about more.
Really forces you to figure out what's important.
You know what's important, guys? Hench is important, and yes, Rebecca's library does circulate Hench, so you can go there and get it. Rebecca also said that the ALA conference, they have a game and gaming roundtable game night and exhibit floor space info that she can provide you with, and so the info is at this link here. Let me just I can't copy it, but ala.org. Games.ala.org, and then look for the links for publisher participation. If you want to get your stuffs in front of a bunch of people who are really interested in creating community and a sense of community in a space where you need nothing more than to exist, to belong in that space. This is what I love about libraries, people. Like, I go on for days about libraries, but this is the biggest thing about libraries, is that the only thing you have to be allowed in a library is a heartbeat. That's it. They might even allow you in there if you're dead. I don't know. Rebecca can answer that. But yeah, you just have to exist.
Depends how long you've been dead.
Sounds like socialism.
I mean, maybe it is. Maybe it is.
Libraries are wonderful.
They are. So hey, we got off the beaten track with all the comments, which is nice. I think a lot of people forgot that we were on for our first show like a couple weeks ago, and they're like, "Oh, they're doing this stuff again."
We're back. Hi.
We're back. So a lot of people are now commenting like mad. This is great. We love to see you all, and it helps us. It really does invigorate us as well. When you communicate with us, we like all this kind of
stuff.
Love
a comment. Love it.
So we're almost at the end of the hour, but before we go, I'd like to ask Marcus. Marcus, what's going on with Marcus?
What isn't going on with me? I don't say no to stuff, so I'm doing too many things.
So there's two main things that I am interested in. One of them I had to say goodbye to because of like international tax laws.
Oh, so, what?
Well, you know,
Canada.
Yeah. The first is Play to Z. What is Play to Z? What's going on with this thing?
Play to Z is a new publisher in which I'm an investor and board member. We are going to be putting out all sorts of games. Basically, Zev Slashinger used to run Z-Man Games and was at WizKids for a while. He's our guy in charge. He's our talent scout. He's looking for games to publish. We're evaluating quite a few games right now, actually, to see which ones we're gonna produce.
I think first on the docket is which one? Ascension?
It's called Ascending Empires.
Yeah.
It is a 4X game with a dexterity element.
Yeah.
Plays in about an hour. So
yeah, it's actually very
4Xs that play in about an hour seem to be quite a thing right now.
It's definitely a good thing.
Yeah. And who else is on the board with you? There's like a bunch of luminaries on the board.
Geez, there's a lot of Bonacor's on it. Jeff Engelstein's on it. Tim, I'm trying to think of how you say his last name, like Mativier or something is on it.
Yeah.
I'm on it. I think there's 5.
Scott.
That'd be Zev. Scott is involved, but I don't think he's on the board. Scott Brady.
Yeah.
Boop designer.
Yeah.
So
a lot of good.
There's a lot of good designers and industry people behind Play to Z.
Yeah, so it's going to be a good thing. And then the other thing I was really interested in was Card Cleaver. What's going on with Card Cleaver?
Okay, all right.
How'd you get into Card Cleaver?
I make
what is Card
prototype.
Cleaver?
Let's explain this. All right, so you make prototypes, right? Everybody makes prototypes. This is what you're using, right? To cut your cards.
Yeah.
Everybody has one of these. You put this on, you slide it like this. I wanted a machine that will cut 9 cards way faster because, I enjoy podcasts, but I don't want to have to listen to them because I'm cutting cards for 3 hours. This, they make this to cut business cards.
Yes, it's a
and
slitter.
I'm working with a factory to have this modified so it'll cut standard size cards. But you put them
poker size cards.
Poker size cards, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's 2 different slots. Nope, just poker size cards because that'll be the easiest to work with. I'm sorry, 2.5 by 3.5, and you run them through this machine
in freedom
a couple
units.
times.
Yeah, freedom units.
In freedom units, it's like millimeters. You want the 65 and 63 and 88, something like that. It's very close to it, but yep, you cranking them through, and you can do a deck of cards in like 2 minutes.
So, did you have a card slitter before you decided to go on this journey?
I looked for one. There was one like 10 years ago a company put out the same sort of deal, and I had an eBay search for one for years, and when it finally came up, it was like $200. And I'm like, it's good, it's worth it, but it shouldn't cost that much.
Right, and so hopefully the card cleaver is going to do the thing.
We're gonna do the thing,
but at lower price.
Yes, it's definitely not going to be $200. We are working with the factory on it.
Yeah, and so again, this is like a slitter, so you're running cards through it, and cranking it, right?
Yeah, I could demonstrate it, but it's kind of hard.
This is gonna be fun.
All right.
Oh yes,
try.
But these are going to be business card size when they come out, right?
No, this will be playing card size.
Oh wow!
Oh, is this actually the prototype?
This is a prototype, yes.
Wow.
So
you're seeing it here first, people.
I don't know how much you can actually see.
Well, I can see your head, Marcus.
Screaming.
Move back.
I'm going to move back. I'm going to move everything back.
There you go. Now we can see it a little bit.
I can see a little bit.
Maybe you can move it towards the yellow pad of book paper. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Yeah, just chuck it.
Yes.
We'll just pretend everything is cool. All right.
Everything is cool. It's not
pretend. Is it?
This is reality. Reality TV.
Please don't put your fingers in it, though.
It'll be fine.
Screaming.
Like this.
Oh.
Ta-da.
Right.
And then take this, you put it through here.
There's 2 holes.
There's 2 holes. Right. And then just like that. Cards.
Rounded?
No.
Are those corners rounded?
No.
They are not rounded. No. You have to get your own corner rounder. But you can run. I mean, just think how long it takes to cut 200 cards.
I know.
Cards with this in like 5 minutes. If that long.
Yeah.
Can it do more than one page at a time, or is it a one page?
It depends. It's generally 1 page at a time because I'm putting cardstock through it. But if you just did paper, sure, yeah, go ahead. I mean, if you wanted to put magic cards behind your paper, like a lot of designers do.
Yep. Yeah, and you can actually get like a large format corner rounder if you have a lot of cards. That'll just be like and it'll punch it.
If I was doing a deck builder with 200 unique cards, I'd consider it. But I'm
not
good
that
enough.
Expensive, but you're good with the hand.
My Kodomaru was okay for a while, but then I start to get like bruising and cramps.
Well, and the other thing is that those dies, they're hard to actually sharpen because they're internal. So, anyways.
Oh, if you crunch aluminium foil with them, it helps to. Yeah.
Here in this part of the world, we call it tinfoil.
Aluminum.
Aluminium.
Wait,
Marcus, so funny.
Who's giving who grief about?
All of us. We're giving everybody grief.
Aluminum.
Yeah. Troy is saying in Korea they have a machine that does this. It's a combination of rolling cutters and a pressure cutter. The paper rolls through like a printer. Yeah. Cool. The war starts. I like the war. The war is starting here.
The war is over. They just don't know who won yet.
Oh. Jesse is saying that he scissor cuts all. It's interesting. So it's showing Jessica's picture, but there you are. Scissor cuts all the index cards in half.
You can do that. You get it's an okay card. I mean, it'll do in a pinch, but
I think that's really neat though. So when is that going to be hitting anything?
We're planning to go to Kickstarter in the next couple months. I mean, we got Chinese New Year, so nothing's happening at the factory anyway.
I apologize on behalf of my country. Sorry.
Yeah, you need
Not
to have a
upset
look
about
at
it.
people.
Not upset about it. It gives us a chance to get everything together.
I should mirror my camera there.
I actually think that we should all do that. Oh wow, you're actually wearing
Oh,
a.
I would very much like to take a month off anytime.
I think it's the right attitude. We should
I
all just
actually
be like,
I say that, and I know for a fact I would spend that month doing game design or
yes, but you'd be
work.
doing game design when you felt like it instead of like around things.
Or you could just do
Yes,
what
yes,
I do and
yes.
be a teacher and have like summers off.
But then
But then you have to teach.
yeah, no, that's the
Yeah.
problem. Like, who am I
There's the
teaching?
kids part of that.
It's the children part.
I
Like,
don't teach children.
I don't know.
teach
I mean,
adults.
kids are so there's
yeah,
so much
but
fun when their little eyes light up. It's very satisfying, but it's just when they're throwing things at you that I'm less a fan of it.
adults can be
Do they throw
worse.
things at you?
No, they don't. My students don't
Okay, I
throw
like
things at me. It'd be funny though. It would be kind of hilarious. Anyway, everybody, you know what?
Yes, I know.
I think it's time that we say goodnight because we're getting a little silly, which is not too bad, but
That's my wheelhouse, honestly.
right, being silly.
little
If you'd
bit.
like to chat with me,
It's one of my favorite things about Marcus.
If you'd like to chat with me offline, well, it's still online, but off the show, you can find me at Senfeng Lim on Twitter and Blue Sky because I don't understand Instagram at all. I just don't get it. I'm on there. I just don't get
You
it.
just post photos.
Nothing makes me feel
Reels.
older than opening Instagram. I feel every bit of 42 when I open Instagram.
Right?
I go, what is happening in this app? How does anyone get any
You are
usefulness out
that
of this
much
app?
younger than me?
There are 14 ads in this app before I've seen anything.
Kat, where can people find you?
Drea Inc on all the things, including Instagram, even though
Including
I'm
Instagram.
45 and it does not bother me.
I don't know. I just don't think like that. I
TikTok,
don't
though.
know.
TikTok's a lot.
Yeah.
I'm too old for TikTok.
I flat refuse to interact with TikTok.
Fellow
You see,
kids.
I really
I'm
like
trying. But...
I really like vertical content for certain things. Like I love it for jujitsu because it just repeats and repeats and repeats the same move over and over. And by the time it's gone like 3 times, like, oh, I know how to do that now. But
or 20 for some of us, but you know,
for other things, I'm like I don't love a lot of the trendy things. I'm not down with all that, but whatever.
You're too cool for that.
No, I'm old. I'm just old. I'm not going to be hitting the gritty anytime soon. I'm not doing that. Maple syrup on all the things.
It's been a minute since. Okay.
Maple syrup on all for the other part. And Marcus,
Yes,
Marcus is at Marcus Ross and at Waterbear Games.
Yep.
And where can people find you with those handles?
You can find me at those handles on Twitter. I'm also at Marcus Ross on Blue Sky.
And your shirt.
Oh, you are?
Oh,
I tried to tag you on Blue Sky and I couldn't find
I'm
you.
totally there. Oh, and my shirt. I am on OFPG Voices as a frequent contributor in the game designer corner. So
awesome.
you
That's
can find
great.
me there too.
Awesome. And if you'd like to support us, you can always go to patreon.com/maple-syrup and help keep the light on. And Marcus, what's your final piece of advice? It doesn't have to be about contests, but it could be.
Okay,
Doesn't have to be about ducks either.
I'm doing
Ducks.
the keto diet right now.
Okay.
And salt. You need to add salt to your diet. That's the one thing I was told.
Okay, that's a good piece of advice. All right, good.
Salt is important.
All right, and so next week, everybody, we actually have a special guest coming on the show, Karen Holla. Karen is known throughout the industry, like the quiet corners of the industry, as quite possibly one of the greatest game demonstrators teachers of all time. And she will be here on the Maple Syrup Show next week to tell us all about how she teaches to mass audiences and how she teaches new games over and over and over and over and over again. And maybe some fun con stories because she goes to a lot of them. So there you go. Next week, Karen Holla talking to us about teaching games at conventions.
Love that for us.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Good show. Great conversation. Thanks for coming, Marcus. It was lovely to see you. Everybody out there, Dave, Troy, Rebecca, George, Jessica,
and
Jesse, the Ducks, Matt. Who else is here? I don't know. Anna Maria's here. I didn't say hi to Anna Maria. Yeah, and Anna Maria and everybody else. And I don't know who else, but that's it. I think maybe more, maybe less. I don't know. But nice to see you. Oh, and Deadpan. Deadpan's here. Good. Nice to see you all. We'll talk to you guys later. We'll see you next week. Au revoir. That's a bad accent. Bye.
It was terrible.
I know.
I can do my customary live long and prosper.
Yeah, see, I don't know if it's off yet. It hasn't told us it's off.
It's-
Normally